Okay, so hi everyone. I hope this is working. Yes, I think we are. So we are live. Rick, you're not supposed to be shuffling papers when you're live. Thank you. I appreciate you. You're a very active person. So hi everyone. I'm Kerry Cassidy from Project Camelot. I'm here with Richard Allen Miller. He's a physicist and a magus. And if you don't know what that is, we can explain. And I've got Jim GALE with me. He is I don't know what you want to call yourself, Jim, but you're a master gardening architect. What those are called, I don't know. And you have this wonderful sort of setup. And I've interviewed you a long time ago, and you're all about food forests and fascinating stuff in terms of beautiful food. And so we're going to have Richard Allen Miller is an expert herbologist, so and also has worked for the really a secret space program, Navy intelligence for most of his life. So I think this is going to be a really interesting discussion. So welcome, guys. Lovely to have you here. What I'd like you to both do is introduce yourselves with a short, very short introduction, okay? So, Rick, why don't you go ahead?
When I first came out of grad school, I started working for the military and first started with SEAL Corp out of Amherst in current SEAL program. I trained the first 4 teams and then turned it over to the military. Then I went into alternatives agriculture and I moved down here to Oregon. Henry Barth heard that I had left the Pentagon as lead physicist for Navy and hired me on the spot and gave me 28 farms in 4 states when I announced that I wanted to go back into agriculture because I like the farm life, a little simpler lifestyle. And we're going to need it now. And we'll talk about that later. But anyway, I had 28 farms in 4 states, and I learned a great deal. What happened next was that I wrote a grant with my students. I was teaching the potential verbs as a cash crop at RCC. I had over 200 students, believe it or not. And I showed them how to write the grant. We got the grant. So I gave it to the students, and for the next 2.5 years, everybody got to be general manager for 1 week. And I showed how a paper drug goes through a warehouse. When you take a raw herb from the ground and you process it into its various needs or uses for cottage industries. And Henry Barth got frightened. He thought I was going to take over the universe. I'm not. But what happened next was he did a hostile takeover on the processing plant. It's still here in Oregon. It does all the garlic and onion revenues for the state of Oregon. But we did that on $50,000. It's really cool. I had 2 overhead cranes and a rail store. I was good to go. And now,
okay, Rick, you're supposed to be talking about an overview of your background right now. So I appreciate the
Well, I
detail
have
there.
degrees in physics. I have 3 areas of expertise. It's physics and metaphysics, meta meaning beyond. Then I'm magic and the occult. I was always, if I was included, I wanted to know what was going on. I look and do it. It wasn't about secret society. And then alternative ag. Those are the 3 areas that I write.
Okay. Jim GALE, go ahead.
Thank you, Kerry. And it's a pleasure to be on this call with you, Dr. Miller. So I'm essentially, I'm a strategist, and we are at war. And I am very happy to share with everybody on your show today the solution to winning the war. And it's going to be very detailed. It's going to start with the high level concepts, right? It's everything is within. Know thyself, know thy enemy, 1,000 battles, 1,000 victories. It's a real thing, right? And then down to how do we actually do it in our communities at scale, and how do we replicate rapidly to create a poison-free local food supply chain.
Okay.
I have a comment on that, Kerry, just briefly. Because of the grid being so fragile, when the grid goes down, there's a high likelihood that food is going to become more scarce because of just-in-time delivery. All the stores in most of the states are within 3 days. If they don't have new food in within 3 days, they're short. And I was hired by Michael Moore to do Chattanooga, and I spent 6 weeks there, and I got to meet the elite and the farmers and the this and that. And at the end of the day, Chattanooga right now produces 40% of the food they consume. And every single restaurant on the Chattanooga River now has a greenhouse producing the salad bars and the related vegetables. And the only other city that I know that's like that, where they're producing literally in-house 40% of the food, is Vancouver, British Columbia. When the Sikhs came in and surrounded the town, they started farming there. And that's one of the only other cities in the world that actually produces 40% of the food they consume right here, right now. That's, in fact, Chattanooga's logo.
Okay, so I appreciate that very much, Rick. What I'd like to do is structure this conversation a little bit so that we can be sort of all on the same page with where we're going to go. So in the beginning, Jim, you have an objective for today, correct?
Yes.
And Rick, I assume you have sort of an agenda of your own you want to put in there.
Yeah, I want to live on a farm in the last days of my life, and my purpose is to complete another 147 manuscripts.
Okay.
Really cool. And I don't want to go dark because I'm selling my own books. I got to do that, but I don't want to do it in a city or a trailer park. What I'd like to do it is on a farm where I'm managing the farm and then allowing children to come in and say how to farm, not garden.
Okay. So the thing is that I just want to let everyone know that Richard Allen Miller is he is published. Actually, I don't know how many books, but at least 12 or more books, and he has 147. He says waiting to be published. So he is a prolific writer, but he's also, as I said, been a consultant. He's taught sci-tech to military. And we're talking special forces, that sort of thing. So he has a really incredible background. Then he actually became an expert on, I think, do you call it hydroponics?
Hydroponics and aquaculture. When I worked at Boeing, I worked under Art Pilgrim, which was Lunar Base Alpha 1. Later it became the Space Center. He was dating his daughter, Vicky. And I was the physicist in charge of light. Did we get the light right on this one? We were growing pot on the moon. That's an article in High Times. That was Boeing, 1968.
You were growing what on the moon?
Marijuana. I was doing an indica variety because of the long ultraviolet.
Okay. Well, at this point, do you want to close your phone or something?
There's 60 of them today. Robocall.
Can you silence your phone at all? Are you?
Yeah, I just hung up on them. There it is. And then we're done. Bye-bye. 60 calls today.
Thank you. Okay, great. So now, Jim, in terms of where you want to go with the discussion today, why don't you talk for a bit about your ideas, and then we'll have Richard Allen Miller weigh in, okay?
Yeah, you got it. So I'm going to share 2 strategies to start with that are rapidly scalable, replicatable in every city and every community around here, around the United States and globally. The first is we went to the Transition House last week. The Transition House is a house for homeless men. There are mostly veterans. There are 90 beds in the Transition House. And we approached, thanks to Mindful Manny, who made the connection. He's one of the facilitators there, the administrator. And we said, we would like to transform the backyard, which is now just sand and rock and death, into a thriving food production system, an ecosystem that will not only provide an amazing amount of food for everybody here, which will reduce your costs massively, but it'll also be poison-free food. And here's where it gets exponential and valuable to the community, right? By its very face, that's exponential, because when people grow food, they're less likely to do harm to other people. That's a fact. It's been studied all over the place, right? So here's where it gets really exciting. And to everybody listening, we're going to turn this backyard into a food production nursery, and we're going to focus on multiple crops, but sweet potatoes is going to be the most valuable crop that we propagate. And we're then going to create a fulfillment center where, through lots of amazing social media, these homeless veterans are going to be growing sweet potatoes in their backyards. And just to get down to the real numbers on this, I gave a sweet potato vine as thick as my pinky to a friend of mine. I've given thousands away, but this particular guy, this was three and a half, 4 years ago. It was one of the first times I gave one away. He came back and he said, Jim, not only did I grow over 100 pounds of sweet potatoes over the last year and a half from that one vine, but 20 of my friends are now also growing sweet potatoes from that one vine. So it's an exponential energy creation system in the sweet potato. And here's where the math gets good for these homeless veterans. We are creating the system, and I'm going to share the whole detail with everybody because I don't own this. This is humanity's idea, right? We're going to get manila folders with Ziploc bags and with a wet paper towel with rooting compound on it. We're going to put these little sweet potato vines in this manila folder, and we're going to charge market price or a little less than market price. And the money is going to go towards the people who actually put the sweet potatoes in the bag and who grew the sweet potatoes. So what this means is these homeless veterans will be able to make between $60 and $100 per hour growing and selling sweet potatoes from their homeless shelter.
Fabulous. Okay.
Now, to do a
Now,
farm,
Rick, go ahead and weigh in on your thoughts on that, and then Jim
Yeah.
will bounce back to you and you can explain further. Go ahead.
when you start a field, farming over gardening is 2 acres or more of a single crop. That's farming. That's what I define as farming, is when you're growing 2 acres or more. And an acre of starch needs 10,000 sweet potato plants for 1 acre. And what I wanted to do, what I did for these 28 farms back in history, with 28 farm managers and aircraft flying me around in different states, I created 360 PDFs on individual crops for herbal pharmacy, and not food, but mostly my specialty was in alternative agriculture and herbal pharmacy over pharmacy. You know, I'm watching Netflix, and it's creepy with showing these people all smiling, you know, taking these pharmaceuticals. But this is another one. Yeah, it is. And so I turn them on and then I turn them off. I get 60 of these every day as a harassment. Sorry, I need a little more cheese with my wine. But to do a farm is, if you can grow 40% of the food you consume, you can barter the rest for all the rest of the nutrients that you might need. And what I had proposed with Jim was that we have his as one of what I call 6 regional demonstration farms. There are 6 places. He's Hawaii and Florida. And I have, by the way, a friend that has a solvent extraction plant down there in Florida. So we're right there to do, if you want to do process to add value to the crop where you make an herbal coffee, you know, like with, I don't know, chicory, whatever, you roast it.
Okay, so Rick, I'm going to stop you there and we're going to bounce over to Jim and see what he has to say to what you just said.
So beautiful. We will take all the support we can get. I'm in my backyard, and we put a few sweet potato vines in the ground, right? There's actually a baby sweet potato right there. The leaves are edible, right? The stems are edible, and the sweet potatoes are edible. And you can do at least once every month and a half. So every 45 days, you can get a completely new crop. And this is all you need. That's what, 8 inches, right? Most men would call that, like 12 inches. But right here, there's thousands of sweet potato starts, and we have done no maintenance. We literally put these crops in the ground, and they became ground cover for our land. So the exponential abundance nature of this and the simplicity of this is why it's able to scale so rapidly. And then, so here's the second step is we're going to the sheriff's station, and I've already talked to a lady who knows the sheriff, and I'm just gonna show up, and on camera, I'm going to let the sheriff know that we have a solution to the majority of crime in St. Cloud, Florida. And then we can show the facts of the matter, as Dr. Richard knows, when we have food abundance, especially in any economy, but especially in the midst of a food supply chain disaster like we're experiencing now. It can scale in every transition house, every school, every prison, and literally within 1 year, we can solve hunger in the United States.
Incredible.
Well, with sweet potatoes, there are basically in growing farming, there's herbs and alternative crops, or what we call non-storable commodities. And then there are the storable commodities, which are your grains like wheat, oats, barley, rice, whatever. All of these things need to be happening because we do not want to bring them in to Hawaii, which has no food production at all. The governor at the state of Hawaii brought me in, again, that was another thing, because if the grid goes down, there's no shipping lanes. I mean, they're not going to have anybody that's interested in going to Hawaii because it has no food. And what I did is I met Hamakua Sugar, I met Anderson's at Parker Ranch, blah, blah, blah. And I started programs where they're starting to farm their own food. And what we used, he made a book out of it. There's a book on Hawaii. I've got one now with Nick Bigich up in Alaska. Each state is a little different, has different kinds of climates. And the climates determine, as well as blood types, what you can and what you should eat. And we're all different. And I'm going to give you one example to give you how agriculture changes. Osaka, Japan, their feedlots are 60-story buildings. The cattle never see the light of day, and they're rampant with disease. And what I did is I took a 60% comfrey, 40% alfalfa, and made a cube or a pellet for it, and eliminated all the diseases because comfrey has allantoin and lysine missing in alfalfa, and gave the whole food to the cow that doesn't get light. And well, that's one of 360 PDFs that I wrote. And some of them are really important, like golden seal or ginseng. Those are more Eastern cultures like China. But herbal pharmacy is better than pharmacy because the standardized extract is a German, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, is a German thing that started in the 30s where they go targeted chemistry. But if you take aspen leaf and aspen bark, which is where they extract acetylsalicylic acid, it also has natural buffers. What do you think? I think it's not about chemistry. That's the way we figured it out. I think God's got a different concept. Because when you find dimethyltryptamine in crabgrass, the most commonest of plants, something else is going on. I mean, it's like God wants you to communicate. Well, I don't know. It just smells fishy. Chemistry is important. And so I call this system full spectrum. And what you're doing,
Call it what?
yeah,
You
go
broke
ahead.
up.
Full spectrum, he said.
Yeah,
Full spectrum.
full
Okay, thank
spectrum
you.
as opposed to standardized extract.
Okay.
The second thing I did is when you take cordyceps mushroom, there are 72 pharmaceutical mushrooms that are pharmaceutical as opposed to gourmet or psychedelic. Those are the three categories. And I've written books on all three of them. And the polysaccharides and beta-glucans, you've got oxygen, you got beta-glucans that are like small and you put a whole bunch of those together and mix it with transfer factor, it'll set up on your gene and look for incoming lookalike chemistries. Then polysaccharides are these big, long chemistries where they have over 100 oxygen molecules in it. And what you do is you run it through a jet engine like they do chicken manure. And it breaks it down to 400 nanometer, which is like a small asteroid going through the solar system. And instead of having to go through the gut where you eat it, and it goes down into the gut, and then you only get 28% of the chemistry on the way up to get your abscess tooth. And instead, you put one single grain on the tooth, and the abscess is gone within 2 hours. It's a new delivery system in pharmacy. And I want to do these kinds of things where we change this crap going on with medicine, dentistry, everything's broken.
We changed the pH to an F, right? Instead of pharmacy with a pH, it's pharmacy with an F. And take the poisons out. Use our land wisely again. That is the only way, right? Without that, we can never win this war and create a future of abundance, right? It is fundamental to be the stewards of the land. And the other model, Kerry, if you'd like me to share it with you, is the model that Richard can talk a lot about the school. So we have created a school model. It's called Origins Reclaimed Academy. And the students will practice an integrative approach of stewardship and entrepreneurship. So I'm starting the senior high in January. We've already got the elementary going and the students love it. These little kids have already planted hundreds of plants around our area here. Now the senior high will actually be running the business of creating a local food supply chain. And this is fundamental everywhere, is bringing our food supply back local. Right now, the average farm to table is said to be 1,500 miles, and it's poisonous, right? So now we take it back to 1.5 miles or 15 miles, and we take the poisons out, and we solve all of our biggest problems. To scarcity and to tyranny by taking control of our food supply chain back.
So India and Mexico used to do it. The labor was real cheap, and they're out there picking by hand. And what I did is I invented flower head harvesters. I invented tools to harvest the crops where you're farming it, not gardening. And instead of having 1,000 people out there in the field picking tobacco, I have a special leaf harvester or seeds, whatever, because the seed markets are really important, because like Conrad Richter's out of Canada and or Johnny Select are the two places you get organic. And that's another problem. Organic has turned into political as opposed to sustainability. And when you look at your land, you walk your four corners, the land will tell you more about what you want to grow on that land than any soil maps that you might get from Soil Conservation Service telling you what's in the soil. The mycorrhiza is the hierarchy of life forms. And when you're on like a river where you have thrip nematode and red spider, the nematode for mint growing on a river like that is a double standard, because it the bacteria, the red spider and all of that complement the mint, and it's perfect for that kind of a soil thing, as opposed to some. I knocked something over. This place is weird. What I want to do is have a more than 20 acres and manage it. If they don't have equipment, we'll short crop. There's what you can grow in that given neighborhood is what equipment's around, because equipment's going to cost money. And I'm going to presume most farmers don't have all the tractors they need at first, and or harvesting equipment.
I'd love to jump in on that, Kerry, if you wouldn't mind. And thank you, Rick.
Yeah, go right ahead.
What our mission is to inspire and empower the backyard gardener with 1/10 of an acre. The people living in a condo or an apartment or an HOA, you can grow these plants in bags or in 5-gallon buckets. All you need is a little light, a little care with watering, maybe every few days.
Grow them on the top of a roof.
On the top of a roof, exactly right. So it's up to everybody. You know, there's a lot of people out there waking up to the problems. And what we need to do is be aware of the problem, but we need to spend our energy on the solution. And so all those people that are bitching constantly about all the bad shit going on, you know what? It's time for those people to stop being hypocrites to some degree and to start spending their energy being the change that they hope to see in the world, right? Become a producer as well as a consumer. There's a family in California on 1/10 of an acre that are producing 6,000 pounds of food per year.
Wow.
How many people do you think that feeds?
Quite a bit, right, buddy?
Well, what's the number? Figure it out, because the world population right now, when the grid goes down, and the high school kids that are in high school right now that are so dependent on their AI and their cell phone, that's a zombie. And within 4 generations, even without a volcano going off, that's the Stone Age. And so our children, in my humble opinion, are our single most important natural resource. They're the ones that are going to save this earth, not you or me. And basically, they need to know how to farm, because it isn't going to be about gardening.
Yeah.
Que sera, sera. It's
George.
yeah. They're smarter than we are. Why would we want to send them to school to become us? Well,
So in terms of how your models might work together, in other words, and I do want to make a statement here that Richard Allen Miller is pretty much destitute, strangely. Even though he's published all these books and he should have an income from that, it's unclear why or how. I think the deep state is trying to keep him on a leash, a short leash. And they're managing. However, I think that the two of you could work together to create a model that encompasses both of your ideas, and it would be very wonderful for the whole world.
And the children actually are smarter than we are. We're more knowledgeable. But Castaneda was really clear about the distinction between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is illusion. Wisdom is when you take knowledge and you integrate it, and you teach a child how to run a tractor and do a furrow. That's what I'm talking about.
The children are more connected. They haven't been as programmed as.
There you go. That's right.
Yep. That's it. So we've got 2 other real quick things to share. One is we've created a campaign strategy. I met with Bobby Kennedy 2 years ago, one-on-one, and we sat down on the couch, and I said, Bobby, the campaign strategy that I'm going to share with you today will not only win you a fair election. Of course, we know that they're not fair. And I'm also not saying that I completely trust anybody in government. I'm simply stating the fact of what our experience was. I sat down with him and I said, this campaign, if you take this campaign that I laid out in front of him and you speak it through your platform, your campaign itself will change the world. And he looked at me funny. He goes, well, okay, let's see it. So I laid it out with 4 talking points You know how politicians like to make big claims. The first talking point, the first big claim, I will take the poisons out of our schools and our children will heal. And it's Bobby at a school surrounded by kids putting food in the ground, while Bobby from that stage says, here's what it means when children participate in good, healthy soil and participate in gardening and stewardship and farming, they do heal. It's a fact. And that one thing would turn every school in the United States into a nursery within a year. And every nursery is an exponential seed of abundance for its community. Now, did it happen? No, it didn't. But that was just one of 4 claims. The other one was prisons. The other one was churches. And the final one was city parks, right? Taking the poisons out.
There you go. That's it. You nailed it.
Our land wisely is the idea whose time has come stronger than all of the armies of the world.
And we import 90% of the food we consume. Only 10% comes from America. And it should be the other way around. We're selling to China, not buying from them.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. If the grid goes down, food's going to become very limited. And these demonstration farms are perfect because I see properties everywhere where they have pastures. They're not doing anything with them. They're just sitting there. You bring a school of kids in there and watch what they do to it.
Boom. And we're putting it all on film too. Everything we're doing is open source. We have no patents, NDAs, or non-competes. Everything I share is for anybody to take and run with. I simply, my goal and intention is presence and being a steward of the message, listening and feeling what the message is. And when it feels inspired, I share it. And I'm done with it. Right. So if anybody out there really wants to see change and you're not actually doing something about it, then get out of here. Right. Don't be a pessimist. There's so much scarcity and pessimism and trauma, and it's government induced trauma for the most part. Right. It's time to recognize within who we truly are and step above the trauma and scarcity and start realizing that there is a way. Right. There is a path to freedom. Right. And then once you start taking steps with faith and courage on that path, well, everything good opens up from there, is what my experience is.
We have not had a true statesman in our capital since probably Harry Truman. Happy birthday, Mr. President. And when I had to go into Nixon's office once a week, and while he was a fairly intelligent individual, the audacity of thinking he was above the law. People that like Trump, you're fired. Everybody's different. And I don't think what we need now is children running the food system because the adults are failing at it.
That's it. And go ahead, Kerry.
No, I just want to say that with this idea, so it sounds like if you went, if you had a sort of a team to go out and to go from school to school and to farm or to places where they have open land, but they're not using it. Maybe they don't have the money to develop it.
Well, I got offered to live in Alabama and I don't want to live there. And Florida, good luck with that,
Okay.
Jim.
Well, I'm just saying that what we need is our teams.
And we need 6 locations for each region of North America, tropical, Arctic, that kind of thing, because they're all different. And I have a new book out called The New Small Family Farm for the 21st Century. And it gives farm plans for each of these regions. And that's what we want our demonstration farm to do, because it shows you how to use the equipment and how to use the land and produce it. And what I've done that nobody else has done is I added processing and marketing and cottage industries, how to take a raw material, not sell it, make something out of it. So it's a mom and pop thing.
Yep. Dr. Martin Luther King said, those who love peace must learn to organize as effectively as those who love war. And the good news is we truly don't need to organize nearly that effectively because we have the truth and nature and what I call God, because I grew up in Minnesota, on our side, right? And so the good news is that we have the solutions. The good news is that we're in the midst of the Great Awakening. There might even be a timeline energetic frequency split where those of us who step into, like the meek shall inherit the earth, is a real thing, right? Because the meek are the powerful who sheathe their weapon to serve and to steward. You know, we built our home, our family homestead. We did not ask for permission. We did not get permits. And I'm telling the governments around the world right now, including our locals, and our weapon of war is solutions and service.
Very good.
I did both of the current business plans for the Amish. They took in one of their bishops and excommunicated him so he could do outreach to me at Acres USA. And I've also done up in the Doukhobor and the several other religious cults, not the Amish, whatever, with Mennonite, and up in the territories area. That's where they dug in. And that is exactly what North America should do now.
Okay, now, guys, we're running out of time here. I know Rick has another thing that he has to do soon. So I want to share your websites here for a minute. I think this will work. So this is Richard Allen Miller's website. He is actually desperately in need of financing of some kind, even just to eat. At this time, he has, I think he recently said $40 in the bank, literally. So this man is a gem. He is a national treasure to our country, and he needs help. So there's a donate button, I'm told, on this website that I've got on the screen here. And I'm gonna, yeah, it says donate now.
I would rather than buy my books rather than donate money, because
Yeah.
I always like to leave something
Okay,
better
but
than
I want to
found
make
it.
sure the books, if they buy them, the money gets to you. That's the trouble.
Yeah, I know. I'm not desperate, but yes, I'm writing some books right now. Wait till you see what I'm writing.
Okay, so I'm saying yes, of course, buy his books, and you have a place to buy your books on your website, right? It says
Yeah, up there and see the store. Yeah, just drop main store. There it is. Read it and weep.
okay. All right, so this is a place to actually buy the books. If you don't want to straight ahead just donate, but if you want to donate, that's good too. I'm just saying that this man is he is a genius, and he is a brilliant man. He was employed by the military in secret projects. He even worked with an ET at one point in Area 51. So he knows a huge amount. I've interviewed him dozens and dozens of times. I've known him many years, and I can vouch for what a good man he is. Now I've got the Food Forest, actually Jim's website here. Jim, is this correct? I've got the right one?
Foodforestabundance.com.
Yes. Okay. So it's right there. And this is his website. He's got a running video in the front page, and it's quite wonderful, and showing, I guess, your land and what you're growing there and all of that. So it's very beautiful. So I just want to say that these two people could definitely use your support. And if you want to get involved, now, do you have email addresses? Do you have email contact on your Jim GALE on your site?
Yes, my email is jim@foodforestabundance.com.
Okay, so it's the name of the website. So jim@foodforestabundance.com. And then going back to Richard Allen Miller, here is his website. He can buy his books. There's a contact here. So if you want to contact him, there's a contact form, and it would be great to help him out in every way you can. If you want to work with these two guys, I highly recommend it. So
well, I'm thinking we need 6 locations for these demonstration farms. That's the first start point. And
okay, 6 locations
here,
for demonstration.
you can do the one in Florida, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so we will do this again. So it's not the last time we're going to be getting together to talk about this whole thing in the organization that you guys have potentially to put together. But I think you will be a winning team with Richard Alan Miller's incredible Black Project knowledge. You name it, he's probably done it. He also deciphered the dolphin language for Lily back in the day. And so he has an incredible resume, if you ever want to know it. And Jim, I can see, you're a very, very well educated, incredible guy. You've been doing the food forest thing for a while now. Is there anything you want to say on your own behalf?
I just want to inspire people to step into your power. I know there's bad shit going on, but pay attention to the good stuff. Put your energy towards the good and step towards the good every day. Make it a habit to know yourself and step towards the good. And it's the path to freedom.
I'm very lucky. Self-realization, I had that when I came out of the crib. But God realization needs a helicopter going straight up and a good pilot. Yeah.
Okay, well, and I have many interviews with Richard Allen Miller. If you want to go to my website, all you have to do is put in his last name in my search bar, which is huge, and you'll get so many you probably can't count them. So anyway, just want to say, you guys, thank you very much. I think that we have to be the change we want to see. That's, I think, key at this time on the planet. And I agree with that. I think doing something positive towards the future for humanity every day, if you can feel that you've done that one thing, whatever it is, however small, however large, whatever it is. So I think you guys are in a great position to help each other and to succeed at whatever you try, really. I think, Hogwarts, a school for, spiritual disciplines that are not religious, but spiritual.
Yes.
And
Not what you do, but how you do it.
Yes. Okay. And I think that, humans are creators. We are endlessly creators. And so this is what we're demonstrating here. So there's no way they can beat us. All right. They know that. They know their days are limited. Okay. So let's just hang in there, have a positive thought every day, and stay on course. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Thanks, guys, for being here. And we'll be back in the future. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Thanks, Kerry.
Okay, I'm going to run the credits so you guys can go ahead and leave, and I will just
send me the link and I'll do it.
Thank you. All right.
You've got the conspiracy in your mailbox waiting for you. Take a look at that. That's what I do right now to stay current for radio.
Okay, I will. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Yep. Thanks, Kerry. Bye-bye. Wait a minute. How do I get out of here? Right there, right? Bye-bye.